right, let's talk about these weirdos. Let's talk about these weirdos, girl.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
I'm gonna read this from Hypebeast so we can have just an understanding, a general understanding. So it says, if you haven't, actually the title of the article says Brazilian police warn women of hashtag passport bros seeking traditional quote unquote wife overseas. Now, if you haven't heard, this is what the article said, if you haven't heard of passport bros on TikTok, you're in luck. In search of traditional women that aren't as independent and outspoken as black women are, apparently, some black men have been using their passports to find wives overseas. And I feel like wives is really pushing it. Like, it's really, they are not trying to find wives, even if they say they are, girl. Anyway. The trend has caused controversy due to a concern that these men are seeking out underprivileged and marginalized women in response to a dating pool of women who have access to resources and are independent. The movement has been compared to sex trafficking and sex tourism, with many waiting on its downfall, and today may be their lucky day. Now, I think this guy's name is Austin Holman or something like that. He's like one of the most trusted sources for these passport bros or whatever. He has made statements about Brazil, from calling the woman there easy to highlighting how there are apparently no sexually frustrated men in Brazil, urging men to ditch American women and go to Brazil. Well, his plan appears to be backfiring because according to his latest video, he's in big trouble. He said a lot of people in Brazil are misinterpreting the things I'm saying in English. He said this in response to finding out that he's on the radar of Brazilian police. He said that they don't know how to speak English that well. And I'm just like, girl, I promise you the Brazilian cops, especially with your black ass, like, I don't understand, girl. Like, you are black going to, y'all already know all these countries have a lot of deep issues with racism over there. You're gonna take your black ass, the police understand what you're fucking saying, girl. It don't matter if they have to go back to the original Rosetta Stone, bitch. They're going to figure out what you, like, and that is a whole entire view into how this person sees other, not just Brazilian women, but people from other countries. You really think they that fucking stupid that they can't translate what the fuck your dumb ass is saying? The ethnocentrism is just so apparent. So he said they don't know how to speak English that well. He continues doubling down. Apparently his content was not urging men to find marginalized women overseas, but to highlight all of Brazil's beauty, such as its drinks, apparently. Those disgusted by the trend replied, urging Brazilian police to jail him overseas. After a few days of negative response on social media, he tweeted, "Y'all don't know how sarcastic I am, I can see," continuing to backtrack on his harmful rhetoric. So not only was this person and many people who are a part of this passport bros, this specific kind of passport bros movement, not only are they saying, oh, we gotta go to these countries because these women are easy, what they're trying to do is take their hatred for black women and broadcast it. Like, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, oh, well, these black women, they so independent, they got all these attitudes, it's like pulling teeth. I saw a comment saying that it's like pulling teeth trying to talk to them or trying to approach them. But if you go to these countries, they're gonna approach you, they want to entertain you and da 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 da. And so apparently they were treating this man so fucking bad in Brazil that he had to take his ass on. But he took his ass to Thailand. So it's just like, what you're doing is very obvious, girl. Like, come on, what you're doing is obvious. You're going to Thailand. Before we even get onto that issue of y'all's self-hatred, because that's what it is, and misogyny, I saw some of y'all getting real hype off of the fact that some of the women there are like fawning over you, ready to talk to you. Girl, if they are sex workers, they're trying to get your coin, you dumb idiots. They're trying to get your coin, and they're going to be successful, especially, and the article brought up marginalized women, and that is such an important factor to keep in mind when these American men, when these go off to these other countries. It ain't no telling the amount, especially with the way that they feel like they are owed something, right? The way that they feel like they're entitled to something. It ain't no telling how much suffering, how much abuse some of these women over there go through. Like, yes, of course, if some of the women over there are looking for coin and your ass is a dumbass American, like, of course they're going to try and get your shit. But obviously not all of them. And obviously, not everybody over there thinks that what you're doing is within the best interest of these women over there, because they're running your ass away. They're trying to get your ass, they're running your ass out of there with the fucking cops. Is this a weird incel thing that, I mean, it's not a new thing, but to see how it maneuvers itself within like the black community, the minds of black men, it is such an interesting thing. These niggas don't want to connect with women on a human level because that would mean that they would have to undo all of this conditioning that it's been built into some of them to just be completely stoic, completely unemotional, completely, you know, a man. You cannot build a human connection with your homeboys, your friends, and certainly not a woman, because you're not even in tune to yourself. The things that are required to be seen as a quote-unquote man, a lot of that shit be inhumane and unsustainable. And so y'all carried all that bullshit to a woman's doorstep who already dealing with bullshit, right? And you expect her to bow down and kiss your fucking feet. You expect it, and you don't do no work on yourself. You bitches don't want to go to therapy. You don't even like do any type of introspection. You don't want to undo some of the weird sexist, misogynist things that a lot of men period, have been trained by the society to you know, the lens that they've been given by the society to see women through. Like, y'all don't want to undo none of that shit, but you expect women to come and do all the work, do all the housework, do all the emotional labor. Forget if y'all have kids, do all the labor when it comes to that shit. So when these women here, when these black women here, all right, who are what, the most educated group, when the black women here are just like, nah, we ain't doing that shit. All of a sudden now, they got attitudes. They don't know how to smile. They too whiny. They too sensitive. They don't know how to treat a real man. They also talk about like the modern woman and how it's just masculinizing them. And y'all want servants. Y'all want servants. And on top of that, I feel like sex workers wouldn't have to face so much shit if there wasn't so much misogyny and bullshit in the minds of men. Because if you think about it, these men get so pissed when they pay for a 4 for 4 at Wendy's, when they pay for a 2 for 20 at Applebee's, and they go on a date and they pay for that shit. The woman may be feeling you, may not. Either way, they get so fucking pissed when sex does not come out of that. You know, they get so pissed when they pay a bill or two or something, and then the woman does not want to have sex with them, right? And then my initial thing is like, y'all be so pissed at sex workers, for being sex workers, but then y'all go out and make payments, buy meals, pay a bill, do something, and want sex in return. When you could have, and my thought is like, you could have just gone to a sex worker. But no, no, I wouldn't want sex workers to be dealing with y'all entitled weirdo asses. And I feel like that takes the fun out of it for y'all when it's just that explicit of a transaction. And that, to me, is something that y'all got to fucking deal with. I don't want. Sex workers should not have to deal with these kinds of entitled, misogynist, fucked up in the head ass man. Because all that shit, all that entitlement, all of that sexism, it will just lead to abuse, no matter if you're paying for sex, no matter if you're paying for a meal, no matter if you're just being a human with basic empathy. Because even that, to some men, seems like a payment. Like, oh, well, I opened the door for you, or I said hello to you, or I had a conversation with you, so now where's my sex? Y'all go around being these lame excuses for human beings, and you expect other people to bow down and work. You expect black women specifically, who I'm just like, how much bullshit they already have to go through. You expect them to automatically bow down and worship y'all ass, and when they don't, you take your ass to another country. Of course you got eyes on you because you're a black person coming from America. Ain't no telling the type of spaces that you are occupying. So of course, if you do happen to be around people who are sex workers, of course they're gonna be like, hey girl, what's the tea? Like, you come from America, girl, hop about that coin. I feel like a lot of them are taking the excitement of being seen as a visitor, or the excitement of being fetishized, or the excitement of being seen as a wallet. But what I think is that when these kinds of black men go to these countries and eventually start being treated like the wallets and like the fetishes or whatever, like the niggas that they are, they're going to want more than what those women over there are willing to give, or more than what these niggas are willing to pay for, period. And they're gonna be so surprised when they end up with the same kind of bitch back the fuck up off me attitude that they get over here. I remember he said the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand down here is that as an American, 50 grand a year will put you in the top 1% of the world. And I just did a quick Google search and I'm just like, girl, you have to be making that much in Brazil to be considered the top 1%, if I'm not mistaken. And that's another thing, they think that just because they making a bit of coin, that it should automatically mean legs are open for them and people are bowing down and mouths are open for them. If that coin didn't work for you in America, like, I don't understand how you think that that is just going to be the end all be all for you in Brazil as well, because you see all women over there as a monolith, I guess. It's just so trippy to me because I feel like they expect for certain things to be transactional and other things not to be. They expect to bring bullshit to the table when it comes to like American black women, and they don't expect to get bullshit back from black American women. They feel like they get obsessed over and fawned over in these other countries like Brazil or whatever, while not seeing that I'm sure the spaces they occupy, it's going to be a transactional shit, and if you don't have certain things, they're not gonna give you shit either. The bottom line is that y'all don't see black women in the US as people, and you don't see women over there in Brazil or wherever the fuck as people, period. You don't see them as people. You don't see them as human beings. You see them as things to own, to possess, to use. This motherfucker talking about, I want somebody that cook. Bitch, cook your own shit. Y'all don't see neither demographic. Black American women, women elsewhere, women in other countries. Y'all don't see them as people, and the repercussions for that are different depending on which country you're in and who you are going to that country. And that's it. That's really it. Y'all are misogynists everywhere. And it shows, and this is what we end up with, y'all going out the country to do. I mean, the police are on y'all ass for sex trafficking and all type of shit. Get out my face. Get out my face. Tell me what y'all think about this entire ordeal. It's ridiculous. Love y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
You could blow me, I ain't the only, you so lonely, insecure, they don't control me. I ain't the only, press the holy, worship me, yeah, you could blow me, I ain't the only, you so